Welcome to the structure of the tarot, Tarot 101, if you will. I've wanted to do this video for a while, but only just recently found the time. It's not going to teach you to read the cards, but hopefully it will help you get familiar with what is meant by terms like major and minor arcana when I use them in the readings. Incidentally, arcana means secrets or mysteries. So, I'm not going to delve into the individual meanings of the cards because I don't think that's necessary here, and we could be here for weeks actually. It's more just as simply as possible trying to explain the structure, the basic structure of the tarot. And the reason I'm doing it like that is because the cards themselves and the pictures and everything on it are really just a springboard for the reader's intuition. And that's really quite important, rather than a strict database of meanings. The language of tarot is symbolism, not the cards. So when a card reader does a reading for you, it's not a regurgitation of a database of meanings. It's the accumulation of a reader's life experiences, their symbolic associations, all that kind of thing that you're receiving. That's what it's about. And the other thing to remember is that the symbols are multivalent. They can mean a lot of different things. I'm throwing my cards around. And in the oracular moment, they really mean what they mean to the reader there and then. It's quite possible for the symbol to display as something entirely different between readings, just depending on what the reader has been experiencing, here, there, and everywhere. The intuition is what pulls a reader to interpret it a particular way. So with that in mind, I'm going to go through it now. I've got a bit of a cough, so I'm sorry about that. And excuse the state of my table. My cat, one of my cats, this is her favourite place to sleep, and she's very fluffy, and she leaves fluff and mess all over the table. So, hope you enjoy the video, and if you do, and you're a bit of a tarot nerd generally about the art, I'm going to start doing some videos on some of the more obscure decks that I've got, just kind of flick throughs. Because I've got some absolutely amazing decks, particularly some off Kickstarter as well, that really don't have a lot of attention. And I just want to share how absolutely exquisite they are with you. So thank you for taking the time to watch. Off we go. The first place to start is the Subdivision. There are 78 cards in the tarot. 56 of them are minor arcana, which are these ones, and 22 are major. Now, there are lots of different ways of splitting these up. We're going to take them turn by turn, actually. So I'm just going to move these minor arcana cards out of the way. I'm going to start with the major. The first card of the deck is the Fool, and it's numbered 0. And the major arcana is known as the Fool's Journey. And it contains 22 different archetypes. Now, these are kind of major life stages, I guess. This is what most people are familiar with when they think of the tarot. It's the major arcana images. And they're numbered from 0 right through to 22. I'm going to be able to get them all down here. They're kind of like life checkpoints, I guess. It's a major cycle right here. But these can indicate events that are kind of out of your control, really. It's the universal forces, things like this. So the Fool is a new start, right? It's the most profound of new starts because it's entering in uncharted territory. It's situations that you haven't been through before. Like I said, aside from these ones that are down here, we go right the way through here until we get to the world. And the world is the end of the cycle. Oh, got a cough today. So, in addition to being a cycle all of its own, the major arcana has zodiac associations for each card, right? So, say for example me, I am Leo. The cards of Leo are Strength and the Sun. Right? There are different ways of working out different types of birth cards, but this is the zodiac way, so let's stick that back in there. We've got the Hermit, which is the card of Virgo, Wheel of Fortune, Sagittarius, Justice, Libra, Hanged Man, Pisces for me, Death, Scorpio, Temperance, Sagittarius, the Devil, Capricorn. And so when these come up in a reading, they can sometimes indicate people, but more often they indicate a particular energy that is around you at the time. If it's a full, it's a new start. You know, the Magician is a super powerful card that talks about being able to manifest into the 3D anything that you could possibly need, limited only by your own imagination. The High Priestess talks about secrets and hidden knowledge. The Empress is about fertility and abundance and bringing new things into the world. The Emperor card of Aries is a leader, is a major strategist. If this card was to come up for you in a reading, it would indicate that you were entirely in control of your circumstances. And it's the fact that he's wearing armour underneath his robes suggests that it's been hard won, you know, the power and the control that he has here now. Right. The idea is you start with the Fool, you take the Fool's journey through all of these archetypes right here. And when you reach the end of a cycle, you go back to the Fool. But you incorporate all the lessons that you've learned in this major life cycle. And you start off on new, uncharted territory, taking with you all the lessons and the experiences that you've learned in the previous cycle. The Minor Arcana is more your day-to-day events. So we've got the Pentacles, the Cups, the Wands, and the Swords. Our Pentacles talk about resources, and they can be of any sort. I mean, often it refers to money, but it doesn't have to. It can be physical resources around you. It can be emotional resources. If you imagine Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it would be indicated very well by the Pentacles suit. You know, you've got the things that you actually need to survive in there, right the way up to, you know, the luxuries that make your life a nicer place. And each of these have an elemental correspondence. So Pentacles is earth, Cups is water, Wands is fire, and Swords is air. So we have resources, the physical, the material, the 3D stuff. And we have Cups, which is emotions and feelings. You know, it's feminine, it's very internal. We have the Wands. The Wands are things that make your blood run hot, you know. So we can be talking about sex quite often, but we can be talking about anything that you get enthusiastic about. So that can be, you know, hobbies, people, relationships. Excitement, enthusiasm. And then we've got the Sword suit. And the Sword is the suit of the intellect. Right? It's the mind. It's thought processes. It's quite often conversation. It's words. It's thoughts. It's our way of expressing ourselves, not only to other people, but how we express ourselves to ourselves, you know, the mental aspect of things. So, there are positive cards in every one of the Minor Arcana, but there are negative sides as well, and shadow sides, and sometimes they appear when a card is reversed, you know, something that might be positive the right way up such as the Ace of Swords, which is like a flash of inspiration from the universe. Yeah, it's being gifted out of the sky. That way round would indicate deceit and lying, things like that. With the Wand suit, we have great excitement, great enthusiasm, great passion for things, but sometimes that can flip over into its shadow aspect and become those things that we fight about, when passion goes too far. Such like. Now, each one of these is a mini cycle on their own. They run from the Ace through to the 10. Right, Ace, 2, right the way up to the 10. When you hit the 10, that's the end of a cycle, right? And you would, presumably, hopefully, go back to the Ace. But within each of the minor arcana, we have the call cards. We have a page, we have a knight, we have a queen, and we have a king. Right? And these all have zodiac correspondences as well. Now, the king is fixed energy, fixed air, would make that Aquarius. The queen is Libra. The knight is Gemini. The page I kind of use as a wild card, really. And they can indicate people, but they can also indicate energies. Okay? This is where the tarot starts to get a little bit complicated, because you have to run with your gut and decide what you think it is. The king is the pinnacle of the suit. And his gender, to be honest, is completely irrelevant to this. It's just a way of expressing the masculine aspects of the energy. The queen obviously embodies the feminine, peak feminine. These two are the early stages, where they don't have the experience. They haven't learned all the things that the king and queen have, and they haven't yet mastered the suit, the energies of the suit in the way that the king and queen have. And interestingly enough, these court cards, which you will get in every suit, you'll see there are 4 for each suit, so 16 in total, and it's possible to map them onto the Myers-Briggs personality tests, which I found quite interesting. There are lots of different ways of reading, and if I was to go into all of them, we'd probably be here for days. But these are the important bits: thinking, communication, words, fire, passion, creativity, enthusiasm, feelings and emotions, how we behave emotionally towards other people and towards ourselves. And then the material world, opportunities that we are given, such as with the Ace of Pentacles, and how we then capitalize on those to reach the 10 of Pentacles, which is the end of the suit. And then the different expressions of how we achieve that through the court cards. So that's it. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. If you're interested, grab yourself a tarot deck. You might be surprised with how easily it can be read. Yeah. Thanks for watching.